all of these are the beginning of sorrows. In verse 8, sorrows, literally birth pangs. If you know anything about birth pangs, the one thing about birth pangs are normally they start far apart and lighter and get heavier and closer until it's paroxysmic. You know, it's birth pangs. And that's what the Lord says. He says you're always going to have all these things. Verse 6, wars and rumors of wars and national conflicts. Actually, verse 7 says ethne against ethne. Ethnic group fighting ethnic group. And it's interesting, the unraveling of so many nations are kind of patchwork quilts of all these different ethnic groups. And the closer we get to the end, the more the quilt unravels. And kingdom against kingdom, it's almost like there's this, balance in the world, but the kingdoms all come loose. And then the famines, so we always have had famines, but they get just stronger and stronger and stronger and more deadly, and pestilences we'll talk about, and on and on. So that's what it says, but keep going down to verse 33. So this is what Jesus says. So you also, when you see all these things, now he says they're trends. He says, look for these things. And when you see them, look what it says. You know that it is near, at the door. That's very interesting. Verse 34, assuredly, I say to you, this generation, what generation? The generation that sees all these things. Interesting. Will not, or will by no means pass away till all these things take place. So basically what Jesus gives us is specific details. Now, what is the sign, the ultimate sign? Well, it tells, if you've ever wanted to know the sign, Jesus is the sign. Look at, it says in verse 30, then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn. The only sign everyone sees is the sign of the Son of Man. He is the sign. But the trends, you're going to see them, Jesus said, lining up. And when you see them lining up, when what I'm describing is finally possible, the generation that sees that will by no means miss it. It's near, it's at the door. And that generation, verse 34, will by no means pass away till all these things take place. So the list of the biblical trends of Christ's return are not actually full-blown till the tribulation time. But you'll see them. You'll see them coalescing. And each of these signs are trends. And the trends are speeding up at the last seconds of the countdown clock of Christ's return. Each day, the prophetic picture that Jesus painted gets clearer.